Well, first I started to paint a king and a princess standing side by side. The story is the king keeping her as his prisoner and a knight comes to rescue her. I chose this reference photo and changed and added some parts which I wanted my character to have. I made him quite taller because usually that's how I like my main characters to be. Adding more values and details, I was just struggling with the sword in the king's hand ready to fight. Then I decided to leave it for later. And then I decided to quick sketch of the whole thing and the very first images of the story in my head. The king and the princess standing on a high level of the castle and watching the night black army approaches. Then again I chose a reference photo for the present princess. I changed the reference to this lady in towel because dude, she was just hotter. And then I drew a pair of metal cuffs for her ankles and chains on her wrists because how else can I show that she's a prisoner, right? I tried to include the defending army on the castle's walls, but I just changed my mind. Trying different ideas, I decided to draw just one critical moment, when the knight had already made it inside the castle and now three of them facing each other. The princess desperately wants to reach the knight and the king, ready to fight, just watches her. Working more on atmosphere, I put the full moon as the source of light. And it also gives an unknown feeling as if something is about to happen. Well, here I just got too obsessed with the right angle of the king's head and crown. This sort of things often happen when you don't paint the whole illustration at the first place. You don't have a clear image of what you're going to draw, including the main perspective, the point of view, and the way elements and characters are standing regarding to that. For example, a minute ago I changed the whole point of view from above the castle towers when they were just watching the army approaching into the castle's interior space when you face the walls from the inside. Which would definitely change the way characters stand, right? After I worked a bit on the walls and the space, I tried different ideas, such as the king holding her arm. Here I wanted to see what it would look like if I had black knights all over the walls, meaning that they have already conquered the castle and reached the knight and the princess himself. Then I was just like, nah. And finally I put the black knight on the center above the stairs and made the background symmetrical. After I got satisfied with the whole image, I started to get into the characters, adding more details and values. Variety of values helps elements to seem more real, stable and solid, you know that. I like the castle to be very raw, brutal and solid, and ambitiously tall like the king himself. I like the idea of him holding the keys to show that she is the prisoner of him. Because sometimes I was just wondering that this looks like the king have brought the girl as a prisoner to the knight. Then I was just like, yeah, whatever, I know the story myself. Here it was just so interesting that how slightly the scenario changes when I change the compositions. Sometimes it even feels like the worried princess is stopping the king. Feel free to pause the video and see it for yourself. This work was a really good experience to me, and it taught me much. Sometimes it's better to stop trying new ideas and error testings and study them first, like the study of moonlight or the study of the castles. But mostly I trust trial and errors. Trial and failure or trial and error is a method for solving problems by repeating too much attempts, which are continued until the success. You feel like you have discovered yourself without pre-studying. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your ideas on the comments and like the video if you did so.